episode of Play and Talk, where we have found a couple bombshells. Like, holy shit,
Definitely.
bombshells. Let's start with the
I guess for the first one, let's just go with the BioWare stuff so we can just get that one out of the way.
Yeah. It's such a shame to see, like,
So Casey Hudson and Mark Dara.
Yeah, they're leaving.
Specifically,
yeah.
have now just apparently left the studio. So that was like,
oh,
okay,
that's a shame.
I wasn't really expecting that.
Wasn't expecting.
It is a shame though because they're very talented people.
Yeah, talented people, but it's such a bummer to see like good people like leaving and going off to pursue other paths.
I still like certainly wish them good luck though on whatever they do after they leave a studio. It's just that there's always that bummer that's like they're still leaving at the end of the day. Although already, just even from a casual glimpse at my Twitter, and I'm already seeing doomsday of like BioWare is doomed, and I'm like, didn't you just say that last year? So are they like extra doomed?
Or Doom Plus? Heyo. I'm sure they'll be fine. They'll find.
I know
some
because
talent.
again, this is what these people like. Honestly, it really annoys me when how many people always try to act like a single developer leaving means that it's going to come crashing down, which feels so disrespectful for the people who aren't out there who don't want to put their names and faces out to the public.
Who don't want the spotlight? Huh? It's just kind of weird to see.
People, stop being all fucking doomsday shit about this, though. Like, it's fine. It's gonna still go in. BioWare still has great people working for them. Relax.
Including Patrick Weeks. Wonder who's gonna be the next general manager.
Casey Hudson and Mark Dara are not the first main names who have left BioWare. And
the founders have left. And, aside from some road bumps, because it always happens, they're mostly fine. Mostly because of the initial reception of Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem. Let's get that out of the way.
I mean, sure. Honestly, Mass Effect Andromeda was more BioWare Montreal, not Edmonton, which is what these people are referring to.
Fair point.
So as far as that, again, Anthem is the only thing that's really come out that could be said to have been not doing so well. Though honestly, if other live service revivals were of any indication, this one is gonna do just fine.
Yep.
Is it gonna be something people are gonna love like the same way they have others? Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But honestly, I'm pretty sure that afterwards...
Do you remember a game called No Man's Sky?
Of course I do.
Do you ever see how angry people were when the game first came out on the computer? And I think the computer...
I've only heard vague things about it.
Yeah, it was overhyped and it was pretty rough at first. And the developers, Hello Games, have
they ended up doing it.
Yeah, so and Star Wars Battlefront 2, a lot of people were pissed at Yeah, a lot of people were pissed.
The microtransaction thing.
Yeah, and
that it went without a reputation. And heck, even Fallout 76 has already been doing that right now.
Yeah, it's a security issues aside because it's Bethesda.
Again, that's always what live service games do. When given enough time, they can end up turning a game that people may have not liked so much and then turns into something they may like or even love. It's very common. I'm sure Anthem will have the same. I'm sure Dragon Age 5 is probably going to do super well, and people are going to like it.
4, you mean
4.
Yeah, you kind of go...
I've lost track of how many games, or especially like if they're a mainline entry or a spin-off.
I don't blame you.
So it's like, and just like with the next, and just like when the Mass Effect Remastered trilogy is going to go in, everyone's going to like that.
Or unless they said to be salty about the game's Mass Effect 3's ending again.
Probably.
Because I bet people who are still salty about that. I bet people who are still salty about that. Like, come on, it's been close to 9 years now. 9 years.
It is 8 years, actually. Yeah, it's
close
8 years.
9 years. Yeah, 9 years, because it's been more than 8 years because of Mass Effect 3 came out.
It came out in 2012.
March 2012, yes.
Yeah, so 8 years is what it would be. 9 years would be...
when I say close to 9 years, when I say 9 years, because we're in the latter month of 2020.
Respect my personal
Yeah, so it seems like, but yeah, it's just like, still, just also that's really good. For that, and I'm sure Mass Effect 5 will probably be good. I'm sure they probably will not be as ambitious as and so it'll probably end up doing so well. Although I am very interested in still in the Mass Effect Andromeda 2, because even if I think that Andromeda stuff has evolved, I think it still definitely had a lot of potential in what it had.
I stopped like playing. I stopped doing like new gameplay playthrough of Andromeda because it's just.
And power off, asshole!
It just didn't click for you. Yeah, and it's just fine. Not every game in a series you like has to click with you. That's totally okay.
It clicked. Yeah, honestly, the trilogy, especially 2 and 3, clicked a lot more with me. It slaps, as you know.
So yeah, like, but for
say.
me, like, I still really liked what Andromeda had, and I still think that a sequel certainly has a lot of potential in it.
Yeah, I was wondering how it's doing a sequel with Right. I was wondering how are they gonna do a sequel with Right since the narrative of Andromeda.
That's a good question because, like, I don't think they're going to do the same thing they did before. Now that they know that it's very resource intensive, and also that it's unfortunately a fact that not many people actually use it.
Good.
I should point out that Mass Effect that there's the Mass Effect archive, so odds are.
So it looks like it, so honestly that is a question to see how they will do so. I mean, because also there wasn't really all that many choices you could make in Andromeda, so I think that also helps balance it out and make it not as hard. Like, the only things I can imagine being affected were whether or not you were with the Archon's second command, which effectively disabled the ship, the romance of your choice, the sibling that
Reloading!
So yeah, that's kind of what I think like, honestly, I think because has a lot of like major choices to switch things up, like the previous games did, it allows it to where it doesn't have to just actively worry in that regard. They could probably just make a few things that's like, yeah, this is canonically what happened.
Again, they're using the archive, so it may affect the next game, like with how the Dragon Age
on me, on me.
On now, Dragon Age Geek. So.
Reload.
Oh, lots of checks. Oh my god, where the? Holy crap! Did you see that? Oh, yeah. Where did they all come from? Did they just like came out of like a?
I'm on your side now.
Out car or something?
Yeah, that's just what it is with it. And besides the doom and gloom of it, I wish them the best of luck, and I'm still interested to see what BioWare ends up pumping out. Because between those projects and, let's be honest, I'm pretty sure that sooner or later BioWare is going to probably be put in to do a Star Wars game sooner or later. And I'm honestly
technically
convinced
they already are Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, but I mean like a new Star Wars game.
Fair enough.
I'm sure they're going to, and especially, even though, yes, their license expires by 2023, but I don't see why Disney's going to remove it. The biggest Star Wars game just like the Disney's movies, super big hit,
I like it. Doors open.
$1 billion except for Solo.
Yeah, but I'm talking like it's sort of in that same vein. Like it's kind of like the track record overall for the movies is $1 billion worldwide hit, $1 billion worldwide hit, and then another $1 billion worldwide hit. again, solo aside. But honestly, that's kind of the same track record for what we saw here. 10 million copies, 9 million copies, another 10 million copies.
If the contact was...
I don't know what the copies, the amount of copies is right now from Squadrons, but apparently it's sold apparently above expectations. I believe that was said in the investor reporting.
I'm not surprised that that's all about expectations. It's about like what, $40?
Yeah, $40. So it apparently sold better than they thought they were going to. So that's probably what it's going to end up being for there. So I don't see why Disney would. And apparently from a Variety article, when just Battlefronts 1 and 2 were released, Disney was apparently already more than happy with it. As far as people saying why they don't just let the license out to everybody, quite simply, it's just a matter of brand security, pretty much.
Yeah, brand security.
They know that
brand security.
They know that EA makes a lot of very high-quality games. They know very much that EA has a very solid track record of selling games, so therefore they just leave it with them because it's just overall the safest option. And honestly, that's just for the best. Like, for instance, I sure as fuck don't want CDPR or Rockstar to be touching that series.
None. Only from out of
places to go and grubs to kill people.
I doubt that they could probably make solid games. Well, one, because CDPR's fan base is easily, out of any studio, the most toxic of anybody's. Like, fuck, you couldn't pay me to go into their
What? Did you really think you could beat me?
CDPR's a shit company, honestly.
I know. I want to stand here.
Like putting aside the development.
Crash and destroy! Come on, Charlie!
But
next stop, Junkyard!
Reload!
And now, we're dead!
It isn't like you can kind of for anything. It's probably.
Oh, it's wrong!
So yeah, like honestly, that's what definitely not because of how everyone is a game. No, they probably would make a very solid one. And honestly, I would not want to get over like, oh my god, let CDPR make all the Star Wars. No, please, let's not.
I'll take those.
Like again, it's not from a question of quality, but rather because I don't want their bad business practices associated with it.
You love to see it.
Like, yeah, sure, EA is not crunch-free, but at the very least, they're among the way better end of companies in the industry. So I'd rather have someone who's at least has
isn't something like Excel would say?
Huh?
I remember her talking about. I remember her mentioning that at EA, 3 is doing better. Though very thanks.
Try harder! Enemies on me!
Yeah, that overall, from what I saw, EA is the best publishing
Finger check!
and it's not in that sort of
One dead reject!
That's a hell of a way compared to the EA
Something we can use.
more than 10 years. You remember that?
yeah, it's a lot of things. They clearly took their questions from it, and then they ended up applying it. That's something, honestly, all I could ask for.
Don't
mind if I do.
Ooh, I got some ammo, and let's move on to the next bombshell. Warner Brothers moving their movies for 2021.
All of 2021 movies are now a very unsensible movie, which is like, holy shit, I did not see that coming. I kind of thought Wonder Woman would just be a one-and-done deal, but the fact that they're trying to do all of this before Wonder Woman even came out, how they could do it, so it's like, man, that's really something.
Christopher Nolan's not going to be happy with this, that's for sure.
I mean, yes, right before but also Corona, so I don't want to.
On the other hand, HBO Max is only limited to only parts in the United States.
Also, I do remember the theater, especially the United States, have their
I see the action!
all about this guy.
Actually, if the theater state or
Throw him down!
given that we had an emergency.
I guess you could look at your state
action reached. This will be my distinct pleasure.
I just also want to point out that we had a state of emergency just like weeks ago. So, odds are good that they do it in 12
Motherfucker! One Zion for the slap!
Throwing flag! Reject destroyed!
But we also need to keep in mind of the other people are subscribed to HP.
Do not waste my time!
Because also there's another aspect of it, like,
That was
that also is brought up that I see from some people is also that HBO Max isn't really having much.
Give me a
content
challenge
that they've
next
actually
time.
put out.
Yes.
I've been subscribed to the platform for a good while now, and honestly, the main thing I would say appealing to them is the legacy content that they have, and they have a really wide selection.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, with these subscription services, legacy stuff is not what's going to hold them. It'll get people subscribed for maybe a month or two, but you need new stuff to keep people interested in your stuff. This is why ultimately that
this is why people are drawn to.
have-
This is why people are drawn to. Are currently drawn to Disney Plus because of Mandalorian and the upcoming WandaVision and other shows.
WandaVision.
Yep, WandaVision and
So honestly, for Disney Plus, they're already good on the Marvel front with WandaVision coming out early next year. So they're not exactly in a rush to get more of the stuff out. It wouldn't even surprise me if like something like Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out later, even next year. Honestly, especially since next year a lot of movie studios are just going to start resuming filming.
that's what I'm looking forward to. That I'm looking forward
So
to.
I wouldn't even be surprised if later that year they release that one.
And
So yeah, so really when it comes to Marvel content, that's ultimately if you want anyone to know their answer as to why it hasn't Disney done that with Black Widow, really because for Disney Plus, they've got their Marvel base covered.
and Star Wars with The Mandalorian. And speaking
Exactly.
of The Mandalorian, oh, I also wanted to bring up Tython from the Jedi Starting Planet from the Old Republic. It's going to, it looks like it's going to make an appearance in the upcoming episode of The Mandalorian, which is either coming late tonight.
We
or-
only have 3 episodes left, so I am very, very interested to see what exactly is going to happen. For this, I know, like from some of the YouTubers I've been seeing though, well, because honestly, there's only like 2 Star Wars channels I follow because I like them. That being Star Wars Explained and with Hello Greedo though as well.
They're
And as far as the
good
name
people.
thing with Grogu, I kind of always say when it comes to
Grogu.
when
That's
a character-
actually not a bad name. Not sure.
it's a
what's-
very Star Wars name, so I'm down with it. But I always say, like, these people were in front of me, which is that just because a character has a so-called real name doesn't mean you have to refer them to that. Like, I don't call Solid Snake David, I call him Snake.
David. Huh.
Yeah, his real name is David. That was apparently his birth name, but again, I don't have to call him that. Just like with All Might, I don't call him Toshinori
Yeah, not exactly.
Yagi, I say All Might.
Doesn't exactly ring a bell to it.
So that's what I mean with it. Like, yes, a lot of characters are often going to have a so-called real name if what they're going by is not that. But you don't have to call them that. Just like even if Scar
Like
from Full Metal
like
Alchemist,
do we also call it on the one hand we more often call like Tony Stark Iron Man, but on the other hand both names.
like we don't exactly say Captain America and say, oh, that's Steve Rogers. We typically say that's Captain America.
Exactly.
Or like even if someone like Scar from Full Metal Alchemist, even if its author decides to come out and say, oh, here's his real name, I would still call him Scar.
I think that's why she elected not to reveal Scar's real name.
Although she does occasionally joke about what the name is in the after story panels in the manga.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can kind of get that when it's sort of like when a character's name is something people speculate but never happens, because like with Scar in the series, people frequently keep asking, so what's your name? And he basically just says it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I get the appeal, I just am someone who's like, I'm fine with it.
Will we doing this mode?
And as far as like, especially like with one of them saying like to come across Luke though, I always just say, because when it comes to character crossovers and cameos, when it comes to spin-off series, I always say if you're going to be apprehensive, you also have to keep in mind the context of where these are going. If The Mandalorian took place, like, say, during the prequel trilogy, okay, I could understand the apprehension if he came across Anakin Skywalker. Because it's like, okay, come on, out of 10,000 Jedi, you just so happen to meet him? Okay, sure. But this is like post-Return of the Jedi, where even if we were to highball it, there's only 4 Force wielders that he could possibly come across that we are aware of.
Yeah, Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker, obviously.
Ahsoka
Tano,
Erza,
Ezra Bridger, if he's alive, and Cal Kestis. Although we don't know what exactly happens to the latter.
No, I would be surprised if we get a counterpart from the old Jedi games.
It could be. I just kind of would prefer not to, because again, I very much want to stick with Yoda's thing of Luke being the last Jedi at that point.
That's true.
But, and also apparently according to Dave Filoni in some interviews, apparently he seems to give the implication that the episode of The Mandalorian takes place after Ahsoka's meetup with Sabine in that epilogue in Rebels. So that kind of leaves questions as to probably he's still disappeared, if anything. So honestly, I kind of say like that's always the context when you come with meetups as to how exactly things are going.
Ahsoka in White takes place after the Mandalorian.
Huh?
So the little thing with Ahsoka in the white robes, that takes place.
That actually happens. That happens
after.
Before.
Oh.
That the events of the Mandalorian happened after that, or at least so Dave hints at. So I'm kind of curious if that's the case, and maybe it's just that Sabine and Ahsoka may have to split it up just that they can go look for extra people. Because that's the thing for it, like, if he ends up meeting Luke, I wouldn't really be someone who's against it, because for the story, it makes sense. He's actually looking for Jedi in a time period where the Jedi are effectively destroyed.
Yep.
So it's like, honestly, the only people to come up, the only person to come
really
across
gonna make
would
it. I point out to Lucas that it's really hard to like make a truly standalone Star Wars story.
I don't think it's impossible, but also again, this comes in with what the story is there though, and what exactly they'll come across. Like for instance, in Star Wars Rebels, when they meet Mon Mothma, it didn't surprise me considering that they were a prominent rebel cell. But although they weren't exactly getting themselves involved with the events of Rogue One, for instance. Like, yeah, they came across Saw Gerrera, but again, he wasn't also someone who was active in a rebellion-esque manner, even if the rebellion didn't exactly sanction his actions or at that point, I believe, disavowed him. But I always just say, again, it makes context within that story of it. And of course, though, they didn't get themselves wrapped up with Rogue One. It turns out they did something that was, again, very important in that movie. It's like, case of this, though, I think of it in the same way. Yes, like in the case of Skywalker, I think it makes the most sense considering that he's the only Jedi that we know at this moment exists.
So the question is, if Luke were to appear in the Mandalorian, who would exactly play it? Since
then that raises the question, does that mean Rogue died in the last that they're trying to kill all the students? Possibly, but again, you can't jump that. Because honestly, if
well done.
Only about massacres, there's pretty much always a survivor or two who's lingering around. I can't think of a single fictional universe where a massacre that was considered very important did not have someone who's like, yeah, I survived it, even though everyone fought and no one did.
Only exception they can think of is the first Mass Effect game, if Shepard was not the sole survivor. That's it.
In what exactly? That Mass Effect 3 ending?
No, the first Mass Effect game, if Shepard didn't have the sole survivor background. That one. You remember?
I never chose that background, so I honestly didn't know exactly what that entailed.
Basically,
I know that some plan, such as like the one I chose, which I believe was Spacer, where that was other things.
Yep, I chose, Spacer, Earthborn, or Moments. That's the first half of Shepard's background. The other half is
this is what I
Warrior, Sole Survivor, or
I think I chose yeah, that's the one I chose.
For the Shepherd that for my stream playthroughs and my fanfiction, my Shepherd is a spacer and a soul survivor.
So what does the soul survivor entail?
Basically, you were the exactly what I said something. Your Shepherd was a soul survivor of honored use a professional attack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, exceptions always apply.
Well, look at you.
If there's a massacre, don't believe that as many there couldn't possibly have been survivors. I mean, again, when we watch episode 3, for instance, there's kind of that view that's like the Jedi have been killed, but then later stories were like, no, there were plenty of survivors, though it kind of differs on Legends versus canon. In Legends, there was like almost an entire Jedi Order's worth of Jedi who survived it, whereas in canon, it was much more subdued.
Wait, you're kidding me? There were
There were plenty of Jedi groups that were left that were over, though, that were in Legends. I mean that as a joke. I don't believe that but it's kind of an exaggeration that there was so many Jedi. Apparently that Palpatine missed because
We got a juvie!
like, apparently Vader's master actually ended up surviving the event, and even lived 100 years past the events of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that one was awesome.
yeah. Wow, that's a little much even for me. I had to say.
Like, even just when I do a casual
Now we're gonna have some fun!
I was just scared. It's just like, you know, for a guy who's they just need to start extermination. Really shit job.
Did a better job in so as far as I know, there's how this
It especially feels more insulting that all the has left the temple to rot, turned the Jedi temple into this bush. I'm like, oh my god, that's like straight up spitting on the grave of us.
and more exposure for him.
Efficient.
It is.
Godly
It feels
way.
egotistical of him, but honestly, it also feels like it's meant to be like a final disrespect.
Hey, we're getting split up.
Okay, Shadowhawk, I want to get to the extraction zone now.
Oh, sorry.
Incoming flashbang.
Oh my god, because
Moving.
that would be close. Oh, behind. Okay, book it.
I'm good.
We got a juvie! Juvie! Reload!
Wow, what a super snake.
Grenadier!
So, have you seen what this guy said to you about Veronika's pork chops?
I thought you were going to
Yes, so long story short, the original version of his recipe, it turns out that there was too much alcohols in it, and it gives that really weird taste. So it was revised to for a bit of alcohol, and the guy who made the film about it says that the revised version it's pretty good, but a little too much on the sweet side.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so... Oh. It's been a while since we played Red Dead Redemption 2, but have you heard that they are basically separating the multiplayer mode from single player? Like, it's separate...
I have heard of that. As far as it, I certainly think it would be an interesting move to try to separate the two from it, but I'm like, hey, if that's what they want to do with it, because I don't really know how successful its multiplayer has been. But
yeah,
I guess
because
successful enough to where they're going to make it its own thing.
I keep on seeing articles on Polygon about this get updates or people's bizarre behavior in that game, like dressing out as clowns. Really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I really don't. Loading, and So I hear surprisingly good things about Immortals Phoenix Rising. I think that's the name of the game. That's how it's pronounced.
Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
The name sounds familiar.
It's
I have to go
it's
look
a
that
game
up.
that is heavily inspired by Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that game. Yeah, now I see what you mean.
Let's see.
Yeah, this one I've been seeing a lot of people talk about.
Let's do classic.
At least getting to overall decent reviews from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and according to Game Informer, they gave it like a 9 out of around a 9 or something. Okay, there's classic chord. Want to do classic chord? Let's do it on
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Let's do it on beginner, just to be on the safe side. So no classes or anything. It's just a bunch of. So it's just a bunch of people. So I'm going to be. I don't know. Combat medic. I'm going to switch characters to. This dude right here. Let's go, Devilicious. Yeah, that'll work. No, there we go. How you like the new system in Gears 5, by the way, since now we got a bit of a hand...
I really like this. It allows me to now play the characters I want to play, as opposed to before, where I picked characters really because of the skills, the abilities that they brought to the table.
Yeah, same.
And also, it makes it so that new characters, you don't have to make a new ability every time. You could just make character cosmetics and stick with the classes you have.
Yep. Oh, have you heard of what went on in Fortnite? Crazy stuff happened there, like what event?
Yeah, apparently, I believe the players were fighting Galactus. From
Yes, it looks awesome.
And it got a fuck ton of viewers. It had like 13 million recurring
15.
viewers.
You were close. 15 million viewers.
That is insane for a viewership. Oh my god.
Imagine how many viewership. Imagine the player base for Minecraft. It's not the game I would play, even though we both play Apex Legends a lot. But god damn.
It's like, man, like, it still shows Fortnite is not slowing down, and now they just recently released Kratos and Master Chief for new cosmetics, and the Mandalorian as well. So it's like, okay, so, again, they're clearly going strong, and Fortnite's not going anywhere for at least the next year or two.
How did they get so popular anyway? That's almost baffling.
Right game, right time.
That's fair.
It's kind of always a funny thing, because Fortnite actually existed way before Battle Royale became
Yeah, with
big.
the Save the World mode, the story mode, which is something my brother really want to get into, but yeah.
So yeah, like, it was something that was existed before, but then when they decided to shift the game into VR, it just like freaking exploded like nobody's business.
And nobody knows why. It's like, and nobody.
I mean, yeah, honestly,
what exactly? Here's something that's been bugging me this entire time. What exactly drew these people to battle royale games?
Huh?
What exactly drew these people to do battle royale games?
Probably the same devs who would make any other game, really.
Alright, so
I mean, also because even though Epic does end up crunching their employees, they also pay them a fuck ton more than most developers would, though. And apparently, they get paid way higher than the industry average. Probably also helps that they live in a cheaper area as opposed to like New York or God forbid the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah, I have heard of a studio that offers like people live in various areas, and someone pointed out the housing costs. I don't remember which.
I saw that was from Ask a Game Dev, who posted about a studio that did that is trying to move into more cheaper areas.
Back back in your
I have
hole.
to go check it, but it seems like he was kind of concerned about it, basically.
What a mess.
Good to
Okay,
go.
I reloaded. Yeah, so we got like Iron Man, She-Hulk, Storm, Doctor
Good
Doom.
shot.
Who else? Venom.
The Venom's good, even though I don't think Doug actually was really good. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, all the characters in Wolverine and Wolverine. All the characters in that game look
Apparently, he was actually good, like Steve Bloom was good, so that was really
Wait,
good.
all the characters are voiced?
Drone down.
From what I told, I remember seeing Steve Bloom who was responding to a tweet that was asking if he was the one who was doing the sound effects for Wolverine, and he was basically being tongue-in-cheek and saying, yes, that was me.
And speaking of trying to shake the Jamie Foxx,
He probably didn't do like full-on voice lines, but probably like the sound effects, the grunting and such was probably him.
yeah. So speaking of people being coy, you heard rumors of Jamie Foxx being Electro again in the upcoming Spider-Man movie, like he did in the second Amazing Spider-Man movie. It kind of sucked.
I haven't heard any such things.
Yeah. Although he initially admitted it, he decided to be a little coy about it. Probably not to violate any NDAs or something.
NDAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, I'm always very skeptical of rumors, though. Like now, the main one I'm seeing is that
Oh,
the
it's gonna be a
upcoming Tom Holland
multiverse.
Spider-Man 3
It's
is
go-
basically going to be some multiverse. So I'm like, I don't really see any evidence of that in Spider-Man movies. But honestly, considering with the upcoming
One
Doctor
dead
Strange
drone.
movie, who knows what could happen?
Why are these? Why these articles are leaning to the multiverse thing for Spider-Man 2 Paul?
Well, considering that it hasn't really been like released, you just kind of have to make stuff up for the future. Because again, there's no Spider-Man news on the third movie. Like, there's no set. There's only like been one set that I saw on Tom Holland post where he was saying for people to wear a mask, and he was wearing 2 of them, which kind of feels redundant because it's like you're wearing the Spider-Man mask. Why do you need the other one?
To emphasize
Only
the point,
4 more.
I guess.
Probably. So yeah, it's like that's basically. But that's honestly about all of Spider-Man 3 that has ever been posted. Like, the official story synopsis or any of that has not been done, and to my knowledge, there isn't really anyone who leaked any sort of casting calls, which is unfortunately what happened with Mandalorian Season 2, when Tamara Morrison's casting was leaked to the public.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, I don't think Rosaria Dawson's was, but honestly, people speculating Ahsoka doesn't surprise me, considering the plot was looking for Jedi, and at that point, there's only like 2 that we can officially know existed at that point in the timeline.
Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka.
Luke Skywalker, and even though Ahsoka isn't a Jedi, she embodies much of their principles. So I'm saying, like, those are the only 2 that can be there. So really, I think that's a rumor that doesn't surprise me.
I'll take that.
Just the only thing I think that was actually could be considered a real leak was Tamara Morrison being there. But I think a lot of people misjudged how important Boba would be when all he made was just a very cameo appearance, and that's looking about it. Unless like he shows up in like the next 3 episodes to reclaim the armor.
That thing's never gonna
Yeah,
come
it's
out.
like
But again, I kind of doubt it. I think it was just more than a
It's
show
jammed.
just have it there, just to basically show like, yeah guys, Boba Fett, he's definitely alive.
now go buy his go buy comic books and books goods on hand.
So yeah, I would say, like, honestly, if that's just kind of what I see with these, they kind of just do brief cameos, basic characters who could end up being important to the plot still, and just using them, like Bo-Katan basically being there to challenge what the Mando thought was supposed to be the case.
Yeah. Still surprised to see the Mandalorian in
This is
Fortnite.
gonna be good.
I'm not too surprised because it seems like those guys are just throwing their money around to get whatever licenses they can. I mean, if they're willing to go for
Marvel
Kratos
and
all
DC in the
characters,
same game.
so it's like I'm pretty sure they're just going to throw their money at anyone who looks like they're willing to be in it. Just not at the same time. Like, I don't think Fortnite's gonna get away with, like, can we do DC versus Marvel as a season?
I wouldn't be surprised if NetherRealm Studios would pull that off. I'll be happy.
That'd be really hard to try, especially considering, well, no, the Injustice games are pretty tame. They're not super graphically violent.
Try.
Yeah, I'm not there. Stop. There we go. Ooh. Take that.
The world's a cruel place.
Yeah, that's kind of stuff like that for that, because I always think that I always keep in mind like what news versus guesses, and there are just some guesses that inevitably someone's going to be right on a guess. As the old saying goes, even a broken clock is right twice again.
Yep.
Oh, heck yes.
It's gonna be
So
fun to
that's
talk
why
about
when I saw
how
Hello
we'll
Freedom
turn
say,
the Jedi in the next Jedi annual thing, but odds are we.
I just really wish that when I watch doesn't recommend me fucking Skywalker, because at least like in my top 5 most of the Star Wars YouTubers, even though most of them suck, but
Another drone destroyed.
I haven't even watched the video of his, but just from the thumbnail, I can guess every opinion he's going to say to a T. Like, oh, I don't dislike female characters. I like Ahsoka. Oh wow, you mean that character who was already liked before Gamergate happened? You know, that thing that actually kicked off your politics.
It's just such a shame.
Again, that's why I always keep in mind with these people when they want to say, like, I like female characters, and I'm like, okay, so when did you get into them? And then I look up because Gamergate was 2015. Oh,
2014.
this character came up.
Yeah, 2014.
2014.
Yep.
2014. Okay then. Well, honestly, because I mainly know Ahsoka was well liked by that point, because I know that I got into the Clone Wars series, which was finished at the time of the 6th season before I got into Gamergate. So I definitely know for a fact that it happened before, and Ahsoka was definitely liked before Gamergate was. So that gave these people a convenient outing that's like, hey, she's someone who was actually made within my lifetime, even though that I was one of the people who endlessly hated the character and actually
People hate Ahsoka at first.
Oh, she was super hated. Like, she was really especially after
Yeah, though I don't find the private movie it's just.
Sorry you had to split.
I think it was just overall an okay attempt, but I think the problem was mainly trying to make it a movie when it was something that was more designed as basically 4 episodes.
Sniper mark.
Although it's kind of funny, it was kind of funny though, because the actual Siege of Mandalore feels like it would have been better as an actual movie than 4 episodes.
Kinda ironic.
Definitely. Like, that's why I noticed that, like, if people saying particularly the very final episode, kind of feeling like if it's a bit disconnected, that's like, yeah, if it were a movie, it probably just would have felt completely in sync with everything else.
Not good.
Like, it's not a problem with the episode itself, but more so how it was broken up.
And
that's why...
It's just like, huh, funny.
Taking some ammo.
So, yeah, that's what I definitely think is definitely ironic, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Alright, I'm looking at
I'm certainly looking forward again to seeing...
Time's up, they're here!
I'm definitely looking forward to, I don't know, looking forward to
I'm
stuff.
just looking forward from Star Wars stuff, and also wondering what game is going to be released by 2022, because 2021 is probably not going to see a new game, because honestly I would highly doubt they make one so quickly.
Oh, yeah!
But hoping that at least we'll be able to get something new that will be revealed by next year, if anything.
Hopefully I'll be able to get myself an Xbox Series X, likely an A Series X. Have they released
Hey, shit!
Huh?
Has Xbox managed to supply the Xbox Series X? Or the prices might try to
Yeah. To my knowledge, they still have
Good to go.
We found someone. On my way.
Alright. Oh shit, you're dead, so that
Yeah, I'm just waiting for next round.
You know, at least we're halfway done with this. Holy shit. Alright, I think. Oh shit! No fabricators. That's not good.
Down you go!
Yeah, because again, this is classic Horde. No bonuses, no fabricator. You're just going with what you have.
The shotguns and assault rifles. And
Whatever weapons are around.
so is that how it is in the previous Gears games, aside from the number of waves?
Yep. For Gears 2, which introduced it to the series, that's all you had. Whatever weapons that you started with, whatever weapons the enemy dropped, and ammo boxes in the maps, that's all that was there. Gears 3 ended up making it a bit bigger, where you still had to use mainly your own weapons, but you could be able to use money to be able to set up fortifications and such.
And then Gears 4 evolved with class-based stuff.
Yeah, and then Gears 5 basically just ended up improving on those features.
Time's up! Here they come!
And the patch separating the class abilities from characters, which is actually the right call because they'll be releasing. They'll have to come up with all the houses stuff. Which, yeah.
I mean, also you can
Okay, that's where that ice. It's a heavy armor, heavy weapon.
So yeah, that's basically what I think of. That's at the end of the day.
Yep.
So far, those are the only two big things that are there. It's just again though that it really feels tiring when bad music and things like that comes out. And it's just that all people want to do.
Yeah, and although Casey Hudson and Mac,
Touch one sniper!
Montara, it's a bit of a bummer to be sure.
Sniper spotted!
And
I keep getting frozen.
hey, looking for you.
Well, at least we end.
I'll take it.
Yep, you have the worst luck with these ice ions. I swear.
Definitely. And we had two people left, so
big is
that's
coming.
funny.
Yeah, at least we got bots. And here's something funny: the air soldiers, their classes, they're called red shirts. Not sure if you noticed that, but now you do.
Time's up!
Oh, I noticed that now. That's funny. Can't believe I never noticed that earlier.
They're supposedly
Yeah, it's
effective.
just really stuff like that because, like,
I'm out of ammo!
like, seeing their poster is essentially what causes the success of the area. Well, I know a lot of stories say that, we don't have to see that
I jammed it!
with every sort of person.
Yeah, I really don't like that.
Honestly, all first.
Oh, I hate when it sounds good.
Want some of this?
Okay, going after the pieces. Okay. It's
Damn it! I'm down!
good thing that good thing you're good. In the face.
Don't even think about it! Let's
Okay, so why don't we just talk about oh yeah, Doom 2 is surprisingly coming to the Town Switch. I thought it already had the Town Switch. But there's something else.
Yeah, that's never really shocked me. It shocked me really than just accessibility thing with Brand. So we're trying to get as many things out as possible. Although it just seems that
Surprisingly considering that they remember like a report of like killing check somewhere else with their things.
You want some?
That's a hello.
Need ammo!
what is.
Sorry, when someone, a representative of Microsoft, Xbox, where they basically told them to take salesperson to look somewhere else because they could not, because they weren't able to.
Unbelievable.
That's it. That was like years ago. Hell of a 180 right there. And do you remember the adaptive Xbox controller?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, that's again, that's a 180.
I mean, again, of course, though, companies and the people who are in them will frequently change as well. And then, fortunately, in this case, they end up trying to make up for some bad stuff that they did.
Yep.
Again, I don't treat companies as my friends, though, and I kind of wish, though, that people would just learn that, yeah, you can praise companies and also dislike actions.
We've got enemies on our perimeter.
Yeah, and I really don't like the too little, too late mindset because you can say that for pretty much about anything.
Bring it on.
Or anyone, for that matter.
Yep. Oh,
Especially considering that when you're dealing with... Okay, so someone exploded on me.
I'm coming.
When you're dealing... when you have these...
Where the hell are you guys? Hello?
That when you have major companies, because inevitably there's going to be something bad that they end up doing,
because we're
unfortunately.
only doing this role.
And also because someone who's bad is in a position they shouldn't.
Or someone's going to say,
One drop.
or someone's going to say something stupid, or tweet something stupid.
Definitely.
It's gonna annoy people, but it's not like it's good. Somebody's going to be canceled, and I got shocked. What a shocker!
Need medical attention!
Yeah,
Alrighty. Who else is up? There's Fuzz
Fuzz
Ribbon.
and a second player.
I owe you one.
Alright, where are you? Alright, everybody up? Are you up? You're up. Good. Are you there? I got fire with something.
Shit flying everywhere. See that?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh god. I get a little burnout when suddenly things get extra quiet.
Understood.
Yeah, so... And, Game Pass is going to add 17 new games this month with 10 leaving. That makes it a net plus, plus of 7. Let's see which will be arriving. Control for Android and console. Doom Eternal for the computer. Haven for console and computer. Rage 2 for Android. Interesting. Oh yeah, and Android cloud stuff. Val 11.
I actually tested it out on my phone, so it does work perfectly.
As long as you have good connection. You need a good
Of
connection.
course, I'm saying like, yeah, but with the Wi-Fi connection, you could basically do everything you need.
Good night.
With the cloud and
This really sucks.
Like, I tried out all of them. The only thing that I was disappointed by was that Fallout New Vegas and compatibility since we were still not compatible yet.
oh, that would have been nice if it does. To be honest, yeah, but I can imagine the engineering, the amount of issues it would take.
That's one
So
drop.
it would have been nice.
That might
Get up and make them pay.
On my way!
Shotgun.
One dead.
God damn, that thing's tough. Flying Rancher. Yes to Grace. Dragon's Quest 9. Echoes of an Elusive Age. Definite Edition. Ooh. Hall of the Sea. Never heard of that. Monster Sanctuary. Never heard of that. Starbound. Vaguely heard of that. On to the end. Astia Corsa. Nailed it. Game Beasts. Ooh, Greedfall. I've heard good things about that game. Oh, wait. Greedfall. Oh shit, my brother has bought that game. Super hot. love that game, and Yoko lay an impossible layer. And I did not realize that Game Pass is releasing DLC. That's new. It's allowing people to get DLC for free. So Age of Empires Second Edition, the anniversary update. Oh, I did. And I take something up on my nose. Feels like a flight on my nose.
Hey, is something wrong with that?
No. Maybe.
Watch it, bastard!
Nice.
And I got shot at and no connection's fine.
Because I'm playing the game just fine. I'm not fighting anything.
And me neither. Mud's been second. That's been some use for my headset acting weird. Yeah.
Oh yeah!
So you were. I'm still stunned at how many. Somehow all these. How many Jedi did actually survive? I don't know.
If we're going by canon, as far as like by the Return of the Jedi, if that's where we're gonna go with, I would say there's probably only like, if we're highballing it, only 3 that could be alive. But again, we don't actually know for certain.
So at most,
This next one
maybe a
will be
couple
rough.
dozen.
Get your shit together.
Like at
Could
the
always use
end
more.
of like episode 3, yeah, a couple dozen, because keep in mind 10,000 Jedi, so even reducing it to like 2, like something like 100 of them would still at least mean that there would be that many at least.
Oh yeah, and he also plays a. I think he plays a Jedi, at least a forward Jedi in that VR game. Vader Immortal. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Vader Immortal, but that takes place well before.
Me.
And I wouldn't probably take it as
Sniper
I wouldn't
eliminated.
take it as meaning that it's that person's probably alive after that.
How did something happen at the end of that
I really don't know.
What the hell?
So here's one of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen in this game. You know, so apparently there's this wrestling crew named the New Day. They do AI soldier, very helpful.
Get away from me!
And some of the shit they did is making me my hands up.
Oh, I saw the game. That's like I think it's like 12 languages. It's like you are so.
Oh yeah, that guy is. Oh yeah, that guy. No, not that part of the New Day, but I have made it a point that I do plan on making like some remixes. Yeah, I do plan on making. It's like. Oh, that. Is he like a Yarncode author type of guy who complained about how people don't like to read because of the classics? It's like there's a better way to say it.
I like the classics in high school, or at least some of them are, and they just don't really satisfy me on the nervous on it. They're more
Back in your hole!
I really do get a kick out of like books like Huckleberry Finn and
I see you!
yeah, that's out. Oh, I remember in
by
I see you! Hold tight!
I just enjoyed and I really enjoyed reading them. Oh, I've been reading a couple other books. You know about the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Of course I do.
It's based on the book, and back in like junior high, in one of my classes, we read it as part of an assignment that, or at least some of the students did.
Get ready.
One of the books I actually read was Falls, the antagonist poaching sea turtles.
I actually never wrote a book about that. Well, at least I got
Book report, yeah, that's it, book report.
Incoming flash grenade!
Yeah, I never did that. I just never, none of my friends
Time to do some
They
damage.
tell you
they just have to do
what?
One grow.
Give me a second. Oh, okay. They're on me. They're on me. Sorry, I had to admit these AI soldiers are a lifesaver. I mean, literally in this case.
Jesus Christ, how do I run out of there? I was just about to go and shoot you but then I ended up running out of there.
God damn, these guys are tough.
Could use some help.
And it's the Snatcher. The Snatcher is just super powerful.
Oh god.
The Snatcher could ultimately because it's a one hit and they don't have flashbang. So I'm just able to shoot its belly.
Oh yeah, that's a yeah. It's like oof. Oof. Let's try this again. If we fail on third try, let's leave and yeah. It's like oof.
Something big is coming.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we got our ammo back. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wonder what will be next for Fallout 76. They ever announced?
Apparently, they're still making content into next year. They said that they have plans for it. So it makes you wonder how deep into next year, because the way it's worked with Bethesda so far has been release a game, release a spin-off, but like 2 years after that, or in the case of Fallout, 3 years after that, and then you give it a bit of a hiatus of about 5 years,
like Fallout in 2008, and Too Big to Fail.
Fallout 4.
It's jammed.
So, Fallout
One dead tracker.
Yeah,
No, stop it!
yeah, I felt pretty down for
it's fine. We all
Oh, okay. I'll take these. I'll take that helicopter over the. Fucking flashbang.
Scratch one, baby. Lucky me. Incoming flash!
Okay. Look, he's avoiding the flashes at. Look, he's avoiding flashes at me. I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna wreck their lives.
I'm out of ammo.
I say this is like and I would say it was like shot the first time.
Time to do some damage. Got another.
Yo, that. Okay, third time's definitely the charm.
Watch out! Stop!
Hey, I'm gonna rock those a helicopter tail.
releasing a helicopter tail.
Yeah, it was like there was like a remains of the helicopter boss.
Stop destroy!
The Kestrel.
Yeah, the Kestrel tail, and it's just like it ragdolls. It's kind of funny. Nailed it? Yeah, I say we nailed it.
Yep.
Could have got it better somehow. It could have got it better. That could have gotten better. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Other than that, are things good on your end? Like, life treating you good? Aside from the pandemic, because fuck that pandemic. Hello? Hello? Oh shit, I knew it was gonna happen sooner or later. Alright, so I've got to re-invite, Shadowhawk, just to be sure, invite the party, There we go. There you
Alright,
go.
I don't know why I was kicked out. What were you about to say? If everything was good with what?
Was life good?
Yeah, so far life has been good. Just
Aside from the
basically
pandemic.
So far handling it between working and at least school is going to be over by next Saturday, so that's neat.
Yeah, can't wait to see you back for D&D.
It won't be the Thursday immediately after because I'm going to be with some friends at a hotel for a little bit, but the Thursday after that, I'll definitely be up for it.
Yeah, might have to drag it out, so I'll have to come up with a bit of a side quest thing for Thursday's group and everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
I honestly am feeling very tempted when I come back, when they're just like, so where have you been this whole time? Be like, oh, I was in the background. Oh, that adventure you guys went in? I was watching you.
menacingly. I'm sorry, I had to drop a SpongeBob SquarePants reference.
Yeah.
Do you ever
I was
see the
kinda
mashup
thinking-
between SpongeBob SquarePants and Among Us, where Patrick sees one of the like one of the
The corpses?
like not corpse, like the one of the astronaut things where
Yeah.
Patrick said he's just standing there, menacingly.
Because for me and my... I was kind of... Yeah, for me, I was actually thinking of, when I was saying, like, hanging in the back, because I kind of thought the way that was, like, when Doctor Strange, and it was revealed that sort of, sorcery users were living in New York, it's like, so where were they during Avengers? And it's like, yeah, they were there, they were just in the background.
Yeah, like the ancient one, just casting spells on the invaders on the shield. Johnny.
Yeah. Although I can't believe it never occurred to me when he's like, if you go to the right year, there are 3 stones in New York.
Oh, shut the front door. Oh, do you like the little explanation of the little explanation I gave you on Facebook?
I wasn't able to see it yet, so what's the rundown?
Give me a second. Okay. Give me the scroll.
Well, message me it later, because honestly, I need to go to bed, so that way I can go rest up and then wake up for my training tomorrow.
Alright, so give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, So, here's the long story short, based on what, the Inquisitive, the Resurrector, had told you. After he got resurrected in a different body, he was at Silesium, in that body, and finding an agent of the Lord of Blades killing a demolition expert hired by a third party. When the agent tried to reactivate the engine, he used the explosive the expert left behind and took down the place, but not the establishment, the engine. After that, after you and Cole have brought the Inquisitor safely out of Shard and someplace else, there's been a bit of a tense atmosphere between the 3 of you. And after that, you hunt around the cogs and make to keep the peace. Now with the Silesium being partially destroyed.
Oh, okay.
Do you like that little explanation of why your character wasn't around?
Yeah, that's a pretty serviceable one.
Yeah, my brother didn't have the complete picture of what happened with the Silesium module.
Yeah.
Long story short, the Lord of Blades agents made a machine to basically transfer Warforged souls to organic bodies, which were basically compounds from all the stuff they've gathered, corpses, you name it, and use the Warforged shells to add to the Lord of Blades armies. And it was up to the players whether or not to destroy the engine or convince the mind behind it, the mind that runs the engine, to find alternative means of creating these bodies. They chose the third option, which is to disable, which led to which circumstances led to it being destroyed.
And so, any repercussions from it being destroyed?
Not at the moment. It's mostly in the background. My brother suggested that one of the council members of Sharn being really against Warforged. That's the long and short of it.
Right.
Oh yeah, you say you wanna go?
Yeah, I have to go head out because I'm honestly getting really tired.
Yeah, I was.
Because I've been driving all day.
Yeah, that sounds sounds a pretty exhausting day.
Definitely. So I'll talk to you definitely pretty soon.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to play D&D in a few weeks because. Yeah, we
Yeah,
kind of miss.
definitely. It'll come. I'll be back on D&D definitely by this month.
Yeah, like either a little bit after next week, or like after the Bitter 12, or on the 17th. That right?
Yep, that's right.
Yes, either on the
All right,
17th.
All right, see you there.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah, take you too. Oh, we'll be re-rating Motoko Devil. So yeah, have a good night, everybody. All right.